You know, there is one thing that does worry a lot of people about Donald Trump, including me, even though I do want him to become president again of the United States if the alternative is Joe Biden. Why does Trump say so many nice things about dictators and strongmen like Russian President Vladimir Putin, the war criminal? Like these examples from before Putin invaded Ukraine.
We just left Moscow. He could not have been nicer. He was so nice and so everything, but you have to give him credit.
Russia is like, I mean, they're really hot stuff.
I think I'd get along very well with Vladimir Putin.
He's running his country, and at least he's a leader, you know, unlike what we have in this country.
And he's going to go in and be a peacekeeper.
Well, our former Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull for the last couple of weeks here and in America has also been putting in the boot.
When you see Trump with Putin, as I have on a few occasions, he's like the 12-year-old boy that goes to high school and meets the captain of the football team. My hero. It is really creepy. It's really creepy now.
Joining me is Sean Spicer, the first White House spokesman of the then President Donald Trump. Sean Spicer, thanks for your time. Sean, I don't normally credit CNN as a good source for anything, but can I quote from a story it's just published? To Donald Trump, Hungarian strongman Viktor Orban is fantastic. Chinese leader Xi Jinping is brilliant. North Korea's Kim Jong-un is an okay guy. But most alarmingly, allegedly said Adolf Hitler did some good things, multiple former senior advisors told CNN. The sources it quotes on the record are former Trump Chief of Staff John Kelly and National Security Advisor John Bolton. Are they right? Is Donald Trump admiring dictators and autocrats a little too much?
Well, first of all, I've never personally heard him use any of those kind of words with respect to the people that you just mentioned. But let's just say that two things can be true at the same time. Somebody can be a very smart person, but be very evil or mean, do very bad things. Right. And so there's a difference. How Trump is describing them, if you take things out of context, I can say I really like such, or I think so-and-so is a smart person, but they do bad things. As I said, let's be clear. I mean, two things can be true at the same time. And the context in which these things said is important, which, of course, these quotes are lacking.
Well, that's actually true. John Kelly was claiming that Donald Trump admired Hitler's economic policies. I'm not sure I would at all, but that's not to say he admired the Holocaust or the war or anything like that. So I think you're quite right in that respect. But to the broader point, particularly with Donald Trump's admiration of Vladimir Putin in the past, is he a little too inclined to admire strongmen?
Well, look, whether he admires them or not, and again, it's all relative to the aspects, the qualities that he's telling about. Like, you can say somebody's tough and strong. That doesn't mean it's a good quality. It's just maybe a reality of the situation. But more importantly, look at this is what I think gets lost in this, Andrew. Look at the foreign policy under the 4 years of Donald Trump versus the 3 years of Joe Biden. Regardless of what he thought about Vladimir Putin, for the first time in how many administrations, Vladimir Putin didn't annex or go to war with any of his neighbors during the 4 years of Trump, right? So you can say what you will about what Trump thinks about him, but the reality is that for 4 years, we had a Russia that was contained. For 4 years, we had a much better relationship with North Korea in terms of them releasing hostages, not being as provocative as they are now. China was much more contained. In fact, I think President Xi was on his heels the entire time, not wondering what Donald Trump would do, trying to be concerned about the policies in the act. China was much more defensive than they are now, with Joe Biden admitting that calling out the Biden administration, admitting that they have full-on plans to take over Taiwan. If not, it's not a question of if, but when. Growing more provocative in both military and economic fronts. So this is a distraction, frankly, I think, from the reality of what matters to America. Are we safe? Are we more prosperous? Are we trading more? Are our interests being protected?